I wasn't accredited by Standard & Poor's, I couldn't operate out in the financial world. I told them I didn't need their credit rating. I had all that I could handle, and I hung up. Well, the United States of America, the most powerful nation on the face of the earth, lost their AAA rating, and it was downgraded. Stock market went over 500 points down the drain. They're shaky about what is going to happen in the Asian market opens this afternoon and the American market in the morning. And what's going to happen to the financial stability? And because, see, America has been the financial giant, the stable monetary power for all of these years. Now, our beloved, intelligent, ignorant politicians decided that what we need to do in order to solve our problem is print more money. That's a real answer, printing more money. That's like being at a party and saying that we're running out of Kool-Aid, that we got a half a gallon, so go get another half gallon of water and pour in it. In other words, they just lowered your standard of living whenever they started printing that 2-point-something trillion more dollars. That simply lowered what we have and devalued it. So Standard & Poor's said we are going to devalue the credibility of the United States of America. First time in history, perilous time. People are fearful and afraid. Matthew, the 22nd chapter, in the 34th verse, Jesus said that when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence. Now, these were two very prominent religious groups, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Both of them were extremely religious. The Pharisees believed in the resurrection, Sadducees didn't. But they were literate. They knew how to read and write. The common man didn't. They were the leading people of the communities, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And whenever one of them would suffer loss, the others would rejoice. But here Jesus said, put the Sadducees to silence. They were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting and said, Master, which is the great commandment of the law? Which is, if we have to pick out one of the commandments, and people today holler, we need 10 commandments, and we wouldn't live by them if we had them tattooed on our forehead. Amen?
Amen.
People say, well, we need this stone statue. We wouldn't live by them. Oh, we might keep 3 or 4. But keeping all of them, very difficult to do. Keep the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Well, we in the church world don't even know actually when the Sabbath day is. Some worship yesterday and some worship today, and some said I worship 7 days a week, and some never worship. But listen to what they were asking him, tempting him. You have been tempted? We're tempting him. Which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said, now listen to what he said. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Powerful statement. Soul, heart, soul, and mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. And on these two commandments hang all of the law and the prophet. On these two commandments hang all of the rest of it. It is either going to succeed or fail on these two pillars of truth. Loving the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, and thy mind. Now the term heart in the Greek is kardia, thoughts and feelings. We are to love the Lord our God with all of our thoughts and our feelings and our soul, our heart and our soul. The Greek for soul is poske, means breath or spirit. Now, if we're going to love the Lord our God with all our thoughts and our feelings and our mind, our thoughts determine our feelings. We are controlled by our thoughts. Whatever we think in our mind, the Bible said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, that might not be reality, because all of the thoughts that we think are not real. In other words, we have to learn how to think the right thoughts. Amen. But we're to worship God with all of our heart. It didn't say with some of it, it said with all of our heart. You know, the sins that we can enumerate and write out are not any greater than the things that we should do and don't do. The things that you know to do and doeth not is what? So now we have got a position here, the word that the Pharisee lawyer wants to know which is the greatest commandments, and Jesus himself is saying that we are to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, thy soul, and thy mind. Mind in the Greek is dia ohel. Sound like an Indian when I try to pronounce it, so it must not be Jewish. It means deep thought, understanding, using your thinking facility. Well, you mean I have to think? Well, most people think that God's going to knock them in the head and they become unconscious whenever he starts trying to deal with them or bless them. But I shall love the Lord thy God with all thy thought, with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, with your feelings, your spirit, and your thinking capacity, your cognitive behavior. Luke, the 12th chapter and the 22nd verse, Luke the doctor, he's a medical doctor. You know, everyone that followed Jesus was not ignorant and unlearned. The fishermen were, and the tax collectors, considered ignorant and unlearned. That meant they hadn't been to school. They didn't have a degree to hang on the wall, but Luke did. He had a medical degree. And here Luke said in the 12th chapter and the 22nd verse, and he said unto his disciples, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, for what you shall eat, or neither for the body what you shall put on. The life is more than meat, and the body is more than raiment. Consider the ravens, for they sow not nor reap, neither have storehouses nor barn. God feedeth them. How much more are you better than the fowls?